As an athlete, it's in your best interest to reach your full potential. I know that sounds crazy for me to say, but hear me out for a second. Most athletes, unfortunately, don't reach their full potential. And it's not because they don't have the skills or the capability or the talent or they don't put in the work. It's none of that. Funny enough, it actually comes down to about 5 things we're going to talk about today and what you can do to ensure that you're not falling into the same trap. Because let's talk about it. These 5 things that we're going to go over, they oftentimes leave you feeling like you're falling behind, maybe like you're not good enough, maybe that you lack confidence. But when you understand these 5 things and where you're going wrong, you can reverse engineer them, which is what we're going to be covering in today's podcast. So in today's show, we're going to be going through the 5 reasons as to why most athletes don't reach their full potential and what you can do instead to make sure this doesn't happen to you. And as a result of that, we're guaranteeing after this episode, you're going to start to realize on a deep level what it is that's holding you back. You're going to be able to understand how to work against that so that you don't keep falling into the same trap. And most importantly, you're going to understand how to free yourself from these limitations so you can finally perform to your full potential, be the most confident version of yourself, and most importantly, be one of the most dominant athletes on the field, court, ice, gym, whatever it is. So with that being said, let's get locked in for today's episode. And here we have why most athletes don't reach their full potential and the 5 things you can do to ensure that you do as an athlete. Difference Makers, welcome back to the Difference Maker podcast. Hosts Matt and Chris Calderoni. Glad to be back at it, kind of just releasing another episode this week. We've made a lot of changes around here, done a lot of different things, had a lot going on with our company, but really, really excited to dial this one in and kind of break in on this topic.
Yeah, and just with all the changes, well, you guys can't see the corner and stuff like that, but if you have any suggestions on what you would like to see, maybe more of our personality or anything like that, I'd be happy to oblige. And maybe, I don't know, what do you think? Couple floating shelves over there.
Good stuff.
You know, add some more stuff. We have the little Molliteum thing up there that we got to get going.
So no, it's good. And you know what? It's funny because today's episode, it's about, athletes and not reaching your full potential and all this stuff. But just before we dove in today, both Chris and I have been flustered by our own challenges, I'll say, for the last little bit in stuff we've had to deal with day to day. But you know what? Like, it's funny because if you're somebody who's flustered right now too, this is going to be an episode that really helps you, right? Because these are the things that once you really tap into them, you put these into practice and you can use them, it's going to be something that helps out a lot.
Well, I think as a high performer or high performing athlete, like it's okay to hit points like this.
Yeah.
Like where you are frustrated. Like I've said it so many times. But you do not have to wake up feeling confident every single day. You have to wake up feeling refreshed. Like if you have a good bed, you have a good night's sleep, that's all you have to worry about.
Yeah.
Because if you can then attack it, like we've talked about it many times, setting yourself in a state to perform.
Yeah.
And not only to perform, but to perform well and to dominate, whether that be at practice, in games, or whatever. If you have that system in place, like frustration can be one day or it can be a week, And you have the choice with it. So
it's your choice. And that's why too, to Chris's point, confidence is something you wake up with, it's not something that's just there. Some days it's going to carry over. The majority of the time though, you're going to have to build it again throughout the day.
You got to earn it. You got to earn it every single time. It's like actually a pitcher, actually 2 baseball players that I work with. Mm-hmm. And it's like, you cannot, for anybody, not just baseball, but for anybody, you can't have the same game over and over and over and over again. Yeah. Especially in back-to-back games. Like you're facing a different pitcher. I work with a pitcher and a back catcher, or a catcher, sorry. And if you face a different pitcher every day, if it's back to back, as a pitcher, depending on what position you're in, you only pitch once, depending on if you're a starter, maybe you pitch once a week or you only close one game out of the week. Like you're facing different batters or a different lineup every single time. It's a different canvas, every single time. So if you have that system where you can put yourself in a state that you can perform at your fullest potential, why not?
Constant preparation.
Right.
Yep. And that's where today's episode kind of takes off, there's a soccer player I was working with, and this was just something that, he came to us frustrated. He came to us looking to break through to his next level. He's trying to get to Europe. He's currently playing in the MLS. And the biggest thing is like started off the season doing okay, but didn't do the way he wanted to, didn't perform the way he wanted to, I should say. And it's funny because there were probably about 3 or 4 of these things we're going to cover right now that he was doing wrong. It was almost as if it was instantaneous. Like one week he started performing better, and then the next week he got on the score sheet and then continued his reign and so on. Once he started changing just a couple of these things. And the cool thing is, if you can really put all 5 of these into play, there's so many good tools. Like we have a belief here, we follow the typical style where it's like give all the gems away because we really want to help people out. This stuff really works. And once he started to put it into play, it worked for him. So without further ado, let's dive into it. Why most athletes don't reach their full potential and the 5 things that you can do to ensure it. Let's start with just talking about, though, this dirty word of potential in sport, right? I think we have to understand all human beings have potential to do great things.
It's the easiest word to throw around.
Right? It is the easiest word. Actually, you know what? It's the easiest scapegoat.
It's a sales pitch, man.
It is.
That's all that it is. It's a marketing, it's a sales pitch. It's you have potential, I have potential, everyone in the world has potential, but not everyone makes it to the NHL.
Yeah. Everybody has potential. All of us as humans.
Everyone from 12 to 15 years old has a potential to make it to the NHL, the MLS, NBA, NFL. Everyone does.
Yep.
And it's the easiest thing to throw around. And it's the one thing, I think that it's the easiest thing for also other people to buy into.
Well, yeah, to your point, it's a sales pitch, right? It's come play for my school and you have the potential to be this here and that there and not there and this, that. And it's like, oh my gosh, like this word, it can almost leave athletes feeling like they're chasing, it's a whole carrot and stick, right?
Yeah, but the thing is, the difference is when you have steps in order to get there,
you can do it.
That's the biggest thing.
Sorry, go ahead.
Like what I'm saying when people throw around the phrase potential, it's a very hollow, empty statement.
Yeah. Well, let's clarify and simplify. The only way to tap into your full potential is to take action.
Yeah. That's why action plan. What's the how?
Yeah.
Right.
And the only way to take, and the bigger the actions and more, certain the actions you take, the better results you get. So that's why we always say, if you're an athlete who's trying to reach your full potential, it is in your best interest not to just focus on the actions, but the certainty you have within yourself. You build certainty, and we say it all the time, visualizing, preparation, making sure. Why? Because when you put in preparation, you tap into your full potential because you're taking action without hesitation. That's all tapping into potential is. Mm-hmm. Right? So for example, in a sports side, if you're unsure of your ball handling skills, if you're a basketball player, well, you're going to dribble with hesitation and you're not going to play to your full potential. If you're in school and you don't know how to properly do a math formula, you're going to hesitate and you're not going to get the full potential of what you could potentially get if you were to study better, right? It all comes back to studying. I was talking to a team we're going to be working with potentially in the future, and we were doing their proposal for working with the team, and we were talking about high performance culture. And they said, so what goes into a high performance culture? It's like, well, culture of resilience, we call it. And we said, well, there's 2 sides to it. The culture side is what allows you to actually build the resilient part of it. And they're like, well, what do you mean by that? It's like, well, everybody thinks mental toughness is by having a team that's going to run through a wall. Couldn't be further from the truth. The mental toughness aspect of the team, or the resilience part of the team, actually comes from the environment you create where people feel they need to pick up for one another. Mm-hmm. That's where the resilience happens, right? So if I shoot a ball, I miss a 3, and my teammate comes over to me and says, what the F, and freaks out, that's not a resilient culture. If I shoot a 3, miss, my teammate goes and gets my rebound for me, dishes it back, and I shoot and I score, that's a resilient culture, meaning that you're not letting me fall, right? It's the environment you create. It comes from a culture of safety.
I was going to say a good example of that. I've been on a few teams like this. I don't know if you've had this experience, but it's the sense of like, even if you're like, cause I played soccer. So even if you're 2-0 down and there's about half hour left to go into the game, it's like, we still have this.
Yeah.
It's okay. No one has to get emotional. We don't have to get panicked. It's just, let's fall back on what we know we need to do. To me, that's the safety. That's that feeling of, okay, we can do this. Right.
And I think that's where too, the media, it's more sexy to have the intermission talk or the halftime talk where you see someone ripping them apart and then the team comes out and does whatever. I'm not saying you can't have that in a safe culture. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying a culture that's resilient is one that has rapport. Yeah. And rapport is total responsiveness between players and coaches.
Well, the stories that sell, that movies are made of, are
the comeback.
Well, the underdog.
Yeah.
right? It's never about the team that you know is going to win. And even though they're 2-0 down, they still come back and win with that pedigree, with that belief. You know?
And that's why. So anyways, without getting too far into that, but the other side of it we were saying is the high performance side comes in from preparation, right? And I think it's naive to believe that just because players are good, that's going to win you a championship. You need to keep your iron sharp. You need to keep it sharp every single day. If you have a player who's really good, but they're not working on themselves, you're not going to have a player reach their full potential.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but is that not the preparation is the work to create the self-belief?
That's it.
And then from the self-belief, once you have accomplished that, then you gain the confidence.
Yeah.
So the more that you work and put in, and it feels like very much 1 + 1 = 2.
It is.
But that's all that it is. You don't have to rely on going in motivated, unmotivated, emotion, all this stuff. It's you have the self-belief that you know you can get the job done.
Yeah. And like you just actually hit a point that I think we need to extract as a real insight. You're working for self-belief. So skill enhancement. Why do you enhance your skills? To believe in the skill.
Yeah.
Why do you get the skill? Why do you acquire skills going into a new team or new level? Because you need to believe in yourself to perform at the next level. If you start reframing everything from preparation to just constantly working on self-belief, you'll be fine.
Yeah. Well, the self-belief allows you to, if anyone is listening that struggles with this, like working through mistakes, it's that self-belief side that if you know you have the belief or the ability in that skill to get it done 9 times out of 10, that one-off, you can just leave it as the one-off.
1,000,000%. And that's why reaching your full potential, to wrap up on this simple point, your full potential means that you're performing to your highest capabilities possible because you're not holding yourself back with hesitation or a lack of self-belief. It all comes back to belief. So if you want to tap into more potential, get more specific about the skills you need to build, go work on those skills, visualize and practice, and then put them into place. So with that being said, here are the 5 reasons that most athletes hold themselves back and what you can do to ensure that you're not going to hold yourself back from reaching your full potential. Hold back number 1. You try too hard to game the results or impress your coaches. So here's what this means. You're working for 2 things that are uncontrollable with both of those, right? So the moment that you start working for something that maybe, just maybe, isn't in your full control, you are now automatically starting to focus on things that take shots at your confidence, certainty, or self-belief on a regular basis. The moment you try to start gaming results or impress a coach, you are chasing an intangible white light that you will never get to. The reality of your process and the truth is, to ensure you reach your full potential, instead of trying to game the results or impress a coach, realize results come when you focus on the 3 strengths that you have as an athlete, or impressing the coach comes when you focus on your 3 strengths that you have as an athlete and you do them over and over again. The more belief you have in your strengths, the more you will get the results and impress coaches. I promise you.
Yeah. And the impress coaches part, it's one of the most, like, because I was a coach and I was a bit of a bastard as a coach, where it was,
oh yeah, you coached a team.
I did. And it was just like, that's great that you did it once. Like, go do it 4 more times.
10 times.
Go do it in game. And it was just like, it was a sense of, not that I was trying to push them further or anything like that. It was just a matter of, you're so good to do this. You shouldn't expect, it shouldn't be a surprise to you that you can do this.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And it wasn't like, that's just even how I am personally, like personality wise, that it's the authentic side. Right. And at the end, if you go through a full season and we do really well, that's when you can celebrate a little bit.
Yeah.
That's when, you can let your guard down as a coach. Because I feel for the coaches that are like me in sport, not like with how I coach these athletes right now, but in sport, when you're in it, I feel for you guys, because like it's hard to convey the emotional side for us, because it's just, like, I'm so proud of you for doing what you need to do.
But it's your
job.
job.
It's like, you have so much more to give. Like, don't be surprised that you can pull this stuff off. If you worked this hard on another skill, you're able to do so much more.
Yeah.
And
the only time I've ever, like, we both witnessed it doing the work we do now, the only thing I've ever seen trying to game the we'll call it just the praise of a coach or game the results. I'm not talking about working with the intent to have a result as a byproduct. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about where it's like you're only focused on, okay, I'm going to do, this, and this because I think that's how I'm going to game the results that I want to get here. Like you're kind of cheating.
Not only cheating,
you know what I mean?
But I think that's a one weekend thing.
It is a one weekend thing.
And like again, if you try to replicate that, then that's when you start to fall down that slippery slope of why can't I do it again? Why can't I do it again? When it's like, dude.
Yeah. And like the only way you're ever going to be able to influence results, know your strengths. And then if you really want to take it to a level of game prep, know how those strengths can penetrate the other team or your opponent. That's all it is. Mm-hmm. It's finding with it. So where the reason I'm saying why athletes don't reach their full potential when they do this is because I've seen athletes go, and you've seen it too, go on the opposite end where it's like, okay, so I'm now going to go play a game that's not even within my wheelhouse. I'm going to go try and let's say if I'm not somebody who's good in the paint, I'm just going to try and play in the paint all night. If I'm a basketball player, I'm going to try and, I'm going to try and take long shots. If I'm a striker that finishes within the box, I'm going to try and do that all night because that's what's going to work against his team. Instead of saying, I am a player who's good, with my 3-ball, or I am a player who's good with, my finishing within the box, I've realized that this is a weakness of that team where I can exploit that weakness with my strengths. That's where athletes make their mark on a game.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, I feel like so many times athletes are, and we use this word a lot, but they fall into this brainwash of you need to adapt to a game that's out of your, comfort zone or control. And listen, I'm not saying that athletes don't have to do that. You have to stretch yourself. But when it comes to game time, you need to be able to say, these are my 3 strengths. I'm fast, I'm good in the box, and I have good finishing. Okay, so I know this team, they have really good, if I'm a soccer player, center backs, but I've noticed that they have one center back on the left side who's really slow. I'm going to exploit him with my speed there.
Well, I was going to say, like, you play, again, it's 1 + 1 = 2, but you play to your strengths. And I understand why you would try to do other things, but like, if you're so good at that, like I
stick to
as a player, I was a striker, was more offensive player,
mm-hmm.
and what the simple action was, how efficient and effective can I be at either scoring goals or creating opportunities where the team scores?
Yeah,
I had one friend that I used to play with. He was fast as hell.
And I remember that in Daniel. And that's what Daniel was freaking good at.
And it was like, man, know where he is. Put the ball where it needs to be. Doesn't have to be that crazy. Like you look at Real Madrid and how effective their style of play is.
Yep.
It's not the 10 passes and then make an opportunity to go through. Sometimes it's if the opportunity is there, why am I not getting the ball as quickly up the field as possible in 2 passes and then converting? It's the same thing.
It's the
same
to
thing.
Your strengths.
And yes, 100% different teams, different levels, they set up differently. But even if in that setup, you have someone that is lightning, and you put the ball to where it needs to be.
And even to your point, remembering, because I used to watch the games that obviously you played, even watching Daniel, like Daniel knew exactly what he was good at, to a point that he didn't even take shots from outside of the 18-yard box.
No, and the best thing about him was he didn't care.
Yeah.
It was like
he just ran.
Like, beat me.
Yeah. But that's my point. It's like, and Daniel progressed. Like, I played university ball with Daniel, and like that got him a scholarship.
Yeah.
That one trait, right? That's what I mean by, see what I'm saying? Like, this is where it came full circle. He didn't try to game the results, didn't try to impress coaches, just did what he was really good at.
And I think the one thing that, as just people in general, what you have to kind of call yourself on a little bit is the grass is always greener on the other side. Like, you want to do something that someone else is doing. But if I'm 5'9", I'm not winning a ball in the air against a 6'2" guy. Like, as much as I want to be able to jump like Cristiano Ronaldo, I can for my height, but it's not going to happen against...
well, to your
like
point,
that.
so if you really wanted, you could work and build that. However, to Chris's point, I think what you're trying to convey a lot too is like, do what's most efficient.
Well, do what's efficient for you.
Yeah.
And then, because then what happens? You have the self-belief.
Yep.
Then you have the confidence in your own abilities because you've earned that. And then think of it, when you guys feel confident, you try to do anything and everything. And then it often comes off because you don't care.
Yep. And then when you're later in your career too, if you make it as a 5'9" player, which you can, then you can add in the part where you work a whole summer when you're already professional and done the strengths really well. Then you can go work a whole summer on getting your jump up. Right?
Or learn how to play dirty and make them play down to your level.
But that's the point. It's like there's a lot of time. So yes. So first things first, stop trying to game results and play to impress coaches. Understand your strengths, bring them out, and use your strengths to exploit weaknesses of the other team. That's how you get results. To impress coaches, just use those strengths over and over again. If you just focus on using your strengths to exploit the weaknesses of the other team that you're playing against, the coaches will be impressed as a byproduct. That's it. That you have to keep it that simple. Okay? Number one, and constantly work on keeping those skills sharp. Number two, the thing that holds most athletes back from reaching their full potential is they think the only way to get results is by copying others.
And I think we just kind of touched on this a little bit.
We did.
Which was just like the grass isn't always greener. Like, stick to your own stuff. You don't have to worry about
how many times have we also seen, though, too, like players who are right there, and they really are right there. Like when they come to work with us, they really are right there. But when they start with us, it's like, well, I'm trying to be like this guy or that gal or this gal because, you know, they're getting success right now. It's like, no. The way this really works is simple. You might be right here and not hitting your result, the result you want yet. And the other person might be right here. The moment that you say, okay, I'm not going on my path and I go down the other one, you have to start from ground zero again. Copying others will never be the way.
It's not efficient.
It's not efficient, and it's not to your strengths. Going off the last point.
Yeah.
So can you model people? Yes. The way to model people, though, so this is what you're going to do instead to reach your full potential instead of copying. Go find people they play your position. Maybe they're around your same height. They play the same style of game as you. They're already successful and a professional athlete. Go watch how they did things and take it and implement it to your game. Do not go rogue and try to watch somebody who's 10 feet tall if you're only 5 and try to play like they are and so on. You're in different positions. Don't copy them. Okay. Go out there, find the one skill they do well and bring it to your game. Learn the skill, right? That's all you're doing. You're not trying to copy your teammates. You're trying to stick out and be the own person that you need to be. That's it. Your authentic self.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Authenticity. The more you work on those authentic skills that you have, the more self-belief, again, then it goes to the confidence. And then you're untouchable.
Yeah. And if you have this, all you really need to do with it to keep it simple, you just need to make sure, and what we recommend to our athletes, 2 to 3 times a week, watch your role models. Like go to YouTube. You can do highlights. You can do game film, whatever you got to do. Watch those role models 2 to 3 times a week and actually take notes. Like make it an intentional thing, not something that's just, okay, I'm going to watch and I'm half watching, half implementing. No, sit down. Get a journal out or a book or pieces of paper or your phone or something to record. Write down the things that you see they're doing well and that you're not doing and go implement. Simple. Okay. So moving on to number 3. Another big thing that athletes do that make them lack or not reach their full potential, is they lack self-assessment and don't have self-assessment mechanisms in place. Hear me on this one. Sorry. Do you want to?
One of the toughest things. I was going to say, just because just like you and I, or anyone for that matter, when you're in it, like this week, a little bit of frustration, stuff like that. When you're in it, it is so difficult, to catch yourself and just 2 seconds. Okay, let's see what I can do a little bit different.
Yeah.
It's one of the hardest things, and you convince yourself that you're doing everything that you can.
Well, so there's 2 things I'm going to say on that. And this is not to brag about what we do in any way, but we have literally seen this help our athletes make 100 to 4,000% more on their signing contracts when they sign or re-sign a deal after working with us. Here's why. We simply act as a self-assessment mechanism for them that isn't getting involved in the fire that they're in. We're keeping a neutral point of view, and we're just giving them the simple, exact pieces of information they need to break through. That's it. So they might say, I'm doing everything possible. Great story. Okay, great example. NFL player calls me yesterday that we're working with. Says, Matt, I'm not able to get my technique down to transfer over from visualization to the game. Or to my OTAs in practice, sorry. Said, okay. So we talk to each other. We speak through it. I said, tell me what you're doing. Starts telling me, well, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. I'm saying, hold on. So you're visualizing the right technique? Yes. The right outcome? Yes. The right challenge? Yes. Okay. So in my head, I'm like, it's not the technique. It's like, tell me what you're doing though before practices to warm up. He goes, I said, are you taking the time to do 10 minutes to work on your technique? No. Okay. I said, are you getting beat on your first couple reps? He's like, my first 6 reps are horrible. Then I'm good. It's like, okay. So neutral point of view, you're doing all the visualizing right. You have the right cues. You're just not getting off your line quick enough. Okay. You haven't been warming up. Okay. And you told me that the first 6 reps are bad and then you're good. I think warm-ups are going to be the thing that help you. Mm. And once he started doing that, he goes, wow, it's crazy. You know, now I go into it and I'm on my first couple reps and I feel prepared. So all it was like, this is what I mean. When you're in it, it's like, what am I doing wrong? Then when you take that 30,000 foot overview and you just look at things, it's like, oh, that's what it was.
Yeah. Cause that question or feeling of what am I doing wrong? If that can be it can put you in a tough hole, almost in a, like, I don't belong here.
Yeah.
Type thing. Because you think, oh, I've done this, I've done that, I've done everything else. And then you feel so stuck. It's a hard place to, like I said, it's a hard place to get out of. But once you do,
you're good.
It's different story. And there's always a way out.
So speaking with that, you need to set up self-assessment mechanisms for yourself. So there's a couple that we'll always suggest. Number one, if you haven't already, we're big fans of this. You need some kind of a journal. Okay. Some kind meaning it can be an Excel spreadsheet where you just grade yourself on how well you're using your 3 strengths that day, right? With our athletes, when we're working with them in a program, we actually have an entire, what we call a resilience system. We know how they need to prepare, the strengths they need to work on, what they need to do mentally, and the mindset they need to have going into performances. Those 4 areas. We have 3 things usually within each that we're able to grade out, 12 total things. That allows us to get a score every single week that we want, and we can simply tweak the ones that aren't working. That alone will help you drastically, because once you start to realize, oh, I am using my strength in games, but I'm not confident in it, and then you go back to the way you need to prepare to get confident, and you realize you're not doing the 10 minutes after practice you committed to, and that score is a 2 out of 10 instead of a 5, instead of an 8, then you can adjust the actual things that will get you results. That's how simple this is. Right? So you need some form of a journal. That's one way. You can also do writing and reflecting. That's another way where you simply ask yourself, what did I do well today? What can get better? How do I get better? And you simply answer those 3 things, 1 point, 1 point, 1 point. And the final thing is you can also have somebody that's in your corner that you trust, right? So it could be a parent that you delegate to just have conversations. Some of us do better with combo. I know for me, the best way I can get out of times that I feel stuck is when I simply have a conversation. Right. And when I have a conversation, that allows me to speak what's going on in my head, get out the mental clutter. And it's like, oh, that's right. And I leave with a bunch of insights. That's why I like doing these podcasts. The podcasts remind me about what we do really well. Right. Makes you extract. So self-assessment, this has to be done on a daily basis. Okay. No ways around it. It should take you no more than 10 minutes a day. Self-assessment can change your life. You'll learn what's going right, what's going wrong, and how to fix. Okay. Number 4. One thing that doesn't allow athletes to reach their full potential is they don't do the purposeful and intense daily work. So there's 2 elements here that really matter, purpose and intent, right? Or intense, sorry. When you have purpose and intensity, you get what I just said, intention. So for example, if you're going in and doing the work and there's no specific skill you're working on, but it's at game pace and you're just running around, you're going to get randomized results. If you go in working on a specific skill, not at game pace or the right intensity, you're going to work on the skill, but you're not going to have the confidence or the certainty that you need going into games. You bring the 2 together, you go work on the skill at game intensity, you're going to be good.
Even on the like bad days of practice.
Yep.
Like even if it is purposeful and intense, you have to, like, I think of it like this. You have to be able to work through the mistakes at the beginning in order to get less and less and less forward, right?
Yep.
But if you're not doing it with that intensity, you will never hit that level of, I guess, failure you need to grow on top of it.
Yeah, the
like,
challenge levels.
Yeah, and this beats purposeful and intense work will always beat just let's go try something.
Yeah. It'll always just beat to like, let's go train. And I think what a lot of athletes don't realize about this until they do it, the quality work is the thing that really gets you the result. Like we say this all the time, right? We care less about game day more than any mental coach probably ever would. And it's crazy. And it's like, why do you do that? It's like, well, here's the reality. That anxiousness you feel, you won't be feeling it as much. You'll still feel some nerves and excitement, but you won't be feeling it anywhere close to what you would if you're preparing poorly.
Yeah.
Compared to when you're preparing well.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like, I don't really give a shit about game day that much. Game day should be the time you're enjoying yourself.
Well,
playing your
me,
sports.
Game day should be for the athlete itself.
Yeah.
Like it shouldn't be. It should be the emotion of the moment. It should be all that stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
Game day should, like, if you're preparing and you're prepared and you're doing the right things, I care more about the quality of work you put in throughout the week, because then if you do not get the result, which I'm going to spoiler alert, sorry, there's going to be a lot of times that you put in the right work, purposeful and intense, and you still don't get the result you want.
Yeah. Simply because, well, number one, you're on a team.
Yeah.
It's not all on you.
Yeah. And number two, but it's like, that's when you can walk away feeling good.
Yeah.
Still, and feeling sure and feeling, it's like whenever we go pitch someone and sometimes we don't get the sale, but it's like, I can feel good knowing I did everything in my power within the right time constraints, how I prepared for the meeting, the effort I put in, the way I tried to put the proposal together and that I can sleep at night.
Mm-hmm. Or even when,
right,
it's time for athletes to go on their own.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing. It's like, did we do everything to prepare this individual to go
to the next level and
do it on themselves?
Absolutely.
Then if we can see that and see their success afterwards, it's like, hell yeah.
Well,
it's good.
But there's a reason that we do Friday roundtable meetings for all the athletes and clients that we work with as a whole coaching staff. And it's not because it's fun, right? Like, let's be honest, there's a lot of times that sitting there, it's like, okay, we got to go through it. But the reason we go through it is because that's where the devil really is in the details.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, we know we can say we did everything that we needed to do to help make the person that we're working with successful.
Yeah. Helps us solve issues, helps us become better coaches, helps us,
helps us sleep at night.
Be able to do, feel prepared.
Absolutely.
It allows you to go have a good weekend.
Yeah. So to solve this, keeping it simple, you need to make sure every training session you have is purposeful and intense. And if you're going into a training session without one or the other or both, change your approach, because quality work will always be the thing that solves your issues that you have on game days. And that's all you can control. And the funny part is, you don't need a lot of this. So when you go work with your team and you do your team practices, and let's say you practice for an hour and a half, and you put in the 10 to maybe 15 minutes after of intense work that you need to do that's purposeful. So we have a soccer player. All he does after practice, so they created this situation that he needs to get it, receives a ball, quick turn within a second, hit it. Remember the drill you used to do? Mm-hmm. Pass to you and just turn and hit? That's what we're talking about, because he gets that in a game. And funny enough, how did he score a couple games ago? Exactly with that. How did he get an assist that built up from, the center line? Well, another drill that we did, he was getting a ball from half. He would get it, make a move, turn, and beam 20 to 30 yards upfield, then finish with the final through ball. That's exactly how he got an assist this past week, right? My point is, though, purposeful and intense. If you look at Steph Curry doesn't just shoot three balls. Mm-hmm. Steph Curry said this multiple times publicly on record. I shoot three balls with the intention in my head and the intensity, the mental environment I've created, as if there's three guys on me like I'm facing in a game. That should tell you everything. So next thing you got to add in is purposeful and intense daily work. The last thing, number 5, you're holding yourself back from reaching your full potential if you listen to those who aren't practical or successful in your sport. Oh my God. So hear me out. You can get, and funny enough, athletes do get feedback from everybody and anyone. That's the reality, right? Parents love them to death, but there are a lot of parents who are underqualified to give advice to their child about the sport that they're in, and it derails them.
Yeah.
I've also seen it where the athlete listens to a friend who has zero business giving any feedback on how they think they should perform, listening to that person, right? If you're an athlete who doesn't have a clearly defined inner circle of people that should be giving you feedback on your performance for specific things. So let me give you an example of an inner circle. You've got multiple athletes. They have us as the mental coach. They have a physical coach who's talking to them about their strengths, right? Their physical strength. They have a specific positions or skills coach who can give them feedback on exactly what they're doing in a game. Those are the three they listen to. Most of them have wives or girlfriends or significant others, or husbands or boyfriends or significant others, or moms or dads or people that support them. But that doesn't mean they listen to them for that advice. It's not a shot. It's not to be rude. It's the truth. If you're listening to people who have not already been successful in the sport you are in and at the level you want to get to, you cannot take these people's words for literal term. I'm sorry. I've seen this be one of the most derailing, detrimental things athletes have done for themselves.
Yeah, and sometimes it's done with such like innocent.
Yes.
You know, because like you're talking about for parents, I feel for them, because it's like you want to see your kid succeed. You want to see, you know, all these good things happen to them, and then you don't know where to go.
Yep.
And you give the best that you can, but there's people out there that can help you, that can guide you on that, on, I guess, that information.
But, and even to challenge parents, like, go and seek out then counsel.
No, but that's what I'm saying. There's people out there that can,
like, if you don't know as a parent, like, it could be as simple as, for example, like with us, hop on the free call, right? Go talk to somebody. There are you don't even have to come to us. There's hundreds of thousands of people out there offering that in their own respective way. A nutritionist, you get a free consultation. Talk to the nutritionist, use the free consultation, right? A strength coach, free consultation, skills coach, whatever. Just make sure they're qualified, right? And qualified means they have a proven track record getting the result consistently. Not just somebody who has, and this isn't a shot, but somebody who has all the credentials but has never practiced once in their life, right? Or has only gotten the result with one person and not 500. That's my point, though. People who actually do this. So if you're an athlete, you need to put together your inner circle, 3 people. I always suggest mental, something to do with your strength, like strength training, and then somebody to do with your skills. Sometimes a coach can overlap quite a few of them. Sometimes your head coach can, assistant coach, whatever it is, but you need to find that inner circle of counsel. Anything else to add?
No, I think that was pretty straightforward today.
Brilliant. So with that being said, if you're an athlete who's looking to take their game to the next level, or you're the parent of an athlete who's looking to help your athlete reach their full potential, and what you want to consider is signing up with us down below to apply for our one-on-one coaching program. This is the 12-week Difference Maker program specifically for developmental athletes. You can apply to it. We take on 2 athletes per week, or a maximum of 8 total per month. And what you're going to get in this program is a resilience profile where you're able to understand exactly how you grade out with your competence, commitment, focus, and toughness. The second thing is you're going to get is a resilience report that's going to allow you to understand exactly how you need to close the gap. You're going to get a free strategy call with us. And then on top of that, the 12-week program begins. You get your own personal Molliteum coach. We work with both you as an athlete and your parent, if you're a parent tuning in, to make sure you're going in the right areas. And we're available to you 16 hours a day, call or text on demand. Why? Because certain things come up in performance. We can't deal with it, 10 days later in a call. We need to make sure we deal with it now. And finally, we also throw in the Molliteum Pocket Coach so that you know exactly what you need to do on a daily basis. All of this is included in our one-on-one coaching program. If you're an athlete serious about taking your mental game to the next level, click the link down below, apply, and we'll see if you fit the right application form. So with that being said, stay resilient, and we'll see you in the next one.